Hello. And welcome to the, and welcome to the Relationship Theory, everyone. Here we take difficult emotions and we talk them out like it's a regular ass conversation. Yeah, that's going to be the new intro, but I don't think I'm going to be saying ass every time. Now, I was passing by on my way back home from some morning business, and I passed by this location, and so I thought, hey, I think it would be great to do a video by this location. Don't know what I'm going to talk about. I was thinking not to use any of my list of topics that I would like to talk about, but I saw one thing, and I really wanted to dig really far back for this one because it ties into something I wrote, a note that I wrote to myself earlier today. So the title of what I thought I was going to talk about was called Need to Know. What did you need to know from the relationships that you've had? Usually people have this tendency to tell you, well, hey, look, the relationship didn't work out if it fails. And you're pining and you're having someone listen to you vent and relent about your issues. And they say, well, hey, at least the relationship teaches you what you don't want from the next one. And I wanted to tackle that one today because it ties in very nicely with this note that I wrote. Where I want to start is by first saying, so failed relationships are not only supposed to teach you what you do not want from relationships. You cannot go into every single relationship imagining you're doing the best job that you absolutely ever was. You can leave some room for failure. But even in a failure, the point should not be to look at the relationship fail and then go, okay, so I know how not to fail again. That's not it. You can say that's half of it. You can say that's 25%. I'm not even going to give it a range. What I'm going to do is this. I'm going to tackle it by saying, you ought to know what failed relationships teach you that you do want, not what you don't. Failure ought not to only teach you what you don't like, but what you do. It's possible to fail to emphasize to people what you actually prefer. It's possible to fail on the thing that you know you want to. It's possible to fail sharing that positive word or that positive note. We call it lies of omission, but in this case it would be affirmations of omission. I just made that one up on the spot. You can quote me on that. But you can call this affirmations of omission, where you refuse to state the thing that you like. You refuse to point out that part of your character that you know you want to express to people, or that you want people to express to you. You refuse those things. Why? You tell me. You should journal about it. You should talk about it with someone. You should write about it. But at least ask the question why you refuse to tell someone what you do like. Why you refuse to tell someone what you like to do. That's failure too. So that's where I wanted to start this note. And I'd also like to tie this into something that I was writing about just last night. I was writing this to myself. I was thinking about the very first person that I ever believed that I truly loved. Ever. I was really thinking about her. Facebook memories came up and it showed me a picture of her, and I went on a searching spree, but I collected myself quickly because I realized what I was even looking for. And it brought back to me what it was that I wanted from her in the first place. It brought back the feelings that I had about love in the first place. And back then, love for me was something left unspoken. It was never said. Not I love you, but it was more so, how did I love you show itself? How did I love you sound? How does I love you look? How does I love you feel? I had no sensibilities of what that word love meant. And so while I knew I was in love, I did not know that I was in love. And it was incredibly hard. Facebook memories also gave me the opportunity to see how many chances she actually gave me to love her too. She was actually open to it back then. And let's just say Donald Trump would be disappointed. Deal or no deal, that was a bad deal. He would tell me that. He would tell me it was a terrible deal that I made. Fall in love with someone and refuse to express yourself. That was what I did back then. They're giving you all of the opportunity. They're giving you all the space to show them your feelings, to tell them your feelings. They even reciprocated. It's natural. It looks natural. It feels natural. You know what they're saying to you, and they're not telling you it. You know it, but it's just there. The entire experience is happening exactly how you want it. I even wrote in my notes, because it kind of got poetic, and I said that the grace of nature gave itself to me. It gave me a chance to be a fisherman, and I chose to stay a fish, looking from the surface tide of the water at the moon, hoping I was caught. Need to know. What do you really need to know about your relationships? Is it just how it failed and what you didn't want? Or is it how you failed at telling people what you wanted? One, how is anyone supposed to know what it is that you want if you don't tell them? And then two, how is anyone supposed to be able to experience what it is that you want from them if you don't tell them? I remember trying that in one of my last relationships, and I made the decision from that point on to let go of the relationship because she actively denied it. But that was my first shot ever doing something like that. That was my first time ever telling someone what I wanted them to do because I actually liked it. So thanks, Facebook Memories, for reminding me of what it meant to be in love and facing that part of myself about how to love, how to tell someone how I want to love them. Because it's okay. It's okay to do that. It's okay to tell someone how you want to love them. This is the relationship theory. Enjoy the rest of your day. Welcome to another episode of Come On, Sis. This episode will be brought to you by men massively disadvantage themselves for you. And that this is going towards the good woman. There are two types of good women I'm talking about here. The first type is the type I've described, who are swayed by the universal social circle, the universal support system of their girlfriends, their ladies. That's the first, where you're struggling and you want to get out of the circle, but the benefits are just so good. But you desperately want out because you don't want them to know that you actually love men. Oh, such a hard decision to make. And the second type of good woman I'm talking about are the ones that both the quote-unquote good women inside those universal support groups and generally every other woman in that group don't like. Both do not like this type of good woman. This is the woman who simply does not conform to a hierarchy of alpha ladies, of girlfriends. She doesn't fall for the tricks. We're talking about these two good women. Men massively disadvantage themselves for both of you. They do. They do. Men could do so many other things that they just prefer to be doing someone, anywhere else, except for in places that cause them stress and stress them out. Not saying that the universal support system stresses men out, but there's a notable difference. But to those two types of good women that I've described, absolutely, men massively disadvantage themselves. For you, we excuse certain things that we saw We let certain things slide and pass because we know what you are deep down on the inside. We know we can see it. Some of us, like me, actually know exactly what you go through. Not because of men, but because of your universal support system. Because of your girlfriends, because of your homegirls, because of your ladies, Some of us can see that those girls are stressing you out. And it might look like a teen scene. It might look like some kind of movie, us bargaining with you, like Dormammu and Doctor Strange. Come to bargain, please. Please, get out of that circle. You don't have to do this. Like Drake, you don't have to do this. You can come off the streets and sleep with me and we'll do this thing. Round 2, round 3, we got this. It's just you and me. But that's what I mean by massively disadvantaging ourselves. Exactly how much time do you think a man would like to spend trying to tell you to get out of where you're at the pit, knowing that it's difficult, knowing that if you had the strength to get out, you'd have done it already? I mean, that's a lot of time wasted. And if he's doing that, he already believes the benefits are worth it. Just, are you giving him the benefit of the doubt as he gives you the benefit that you're worth it? That the exchange is okay and that he sees what you're dealing with. Because that's the thing. You know your struggle. It wears on your body. Men know what it's like to wear pain on the body. So when he looks at you, he knows exactly where that spot is, where it's sore. He knows where it is. Your girlfriends, your ladies, they press it like a button, unfortunately. Sorry to say it like that, but they do. And you know this. Come on, sis. Do you really like that? You just let it happen. That girl just presses that one button and you just let her press it? Like you're a toy? I mean, didn't we stop dealing with Barbies and Ken dolls back in the 90s and the 80s? I mean, I know we had Hasbro back then and things like that and Legos, but you're a real human being. Is that really okay? And that's what the men have to deal with the quote-unquote good woman. Not so much with the actual good woman, with the unquote good woman. The straight edge good woman. She doesn't conform at all. Might be harder to find, but hey, the difficulty between finding a straight edge good woman versus having to dust off a few of the dirts and the grime and the mud from what we think is a diamond or a gold piece or a platinum piece. They both seem like the same kind of effort, to be honest. It's just a lot of men either choose to, well, you've heard the phrase, do their own thing rather than dig through the dirt. And honestly, I don't blame them. Not because it's difficult to wrestle the precious thing out of the mud, but because it's equally as difficult to wait. It's equally as difficult to wait. So come on, sis. Don't think he doesn't see what you're going through. Just because he's not doing it your way. He knows. That's why he's not coming. He's already thought about the expense. He's already thought about the liability of coming to get you. He's grown up past Disney. But have you? Come on, sis. That universal support system has got you and that chain having some good fun together. But not so much for the unquote good woman. She's doing her own thing and she's fine. Sure, she's alone some nights, but she doesn't have to deal with having her buttons pressed all the time. She's doing great. And when she's found by a man who knows what that is, she is found and kept. No questions asked. Because he was waiting. So what are you waiting for? Come on, sis. Come on.